Hello, people. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I just had to add a few thoughts on the final political news that has bombarded us this crazy week. Starting with, I was just called garbage by my own president. That was fun. And no, I don't buy your explanation. I heard what he said. I speak English, so I comprehended the words, and your explanation doesn't even make sense, and I'm not stupid. Which is another thing I got called because apparently no intelligent women support Trump. Now, let me make something very clear. I'm not a Donald Trump fan. I am going to be voting for him because I've been given two options, and you're worse. And I consider myself of at least average intelligence, and definitely more than you. So, go ahead. Keep insulting everybody but you. I don't think you're going to like the way that ends. At this point, you're just alienating everyone to the right of Karl Marx, and that's going to leave you with a much smaller slice of the pie than you seem to think it does. As you may have heard, Trump threw a Nazi rally. What about it was Nazi-like, you may ask? Well, I do have to admit, it was bad. Here's the part that was Nazi. He held it at Madison Square Garden. Now, for those of you who can reason, you may be wondering, so, don't a lot of people perform at Madison Square Garden? Yes, they do. And apparently that makes them all Nazis. Because there was a time in 1939 where Nazi supporters gathered at Madison Square Garden and held a rally. And therefore, anyone who goes to Madison Square Garden for any reason is now a Nazi. Now, it doesn't matter that at Trump's rally they flew Israeli flags, as the Nazis did. It doesn't matter that it was attended by Jews, because we all know the Nazis loved Jews. It doesn't matter that it was attended by Latinos and black people, families with their children, all of which were shouting Nazi slogans like God Bless America. They were at Madison Square Garden, people. You don't understand. That makes it a Nazi rally. So, naturally, my question was, how many other Nazi rallies have been held at Madison Square Garden? And I have the answer for you, people. Clinton held the 92 DNC, the Democrat National Convention, at Madison Square Garden. So, Clinton and Democrats from the 90s, congratulations, you're all Nazis. If you're older than that, you too are Nazis because Carter also held a rally there. Bush held a rally there, so Republicans, you're Nazis too. Billy Joel has done a concert there, Nazi. Elton John, you Nazi scum, you. The Grateful Dead, Bruce Springsteen, Nazi. Phil Collins, the Jackson 5, Nazi group. The Knicks have a huge Nazi problem. They have been there over and over again, as have the Razors, and the Stanley Cup has been there too. I hate hockey Nazis. They're the worst kind. Muhammad Ali fought Joe Frazier there, so they're both Nazis. Bob Dylan, huge Nazi. Diana Ross, Elvis Costello, Radiohead, Neil Young, Nazi. Kanye West, that one, Nazi. But Barbara Streisand is also a Nazi. Madonna's a Nazi. I hate to break it to the hive, but Beyonce is a Nazi. She had a concert there, people, and this one's really going to break your heart, Tay-Tay. Yes, Taylor Swift has conducted her own Madison Square Garden Nazi rallies, people. So congrats to all of you celebrities. The people you're voting for say that you are Nazis. And to be fair, I mean, apparently I'm a Nazi too, because if any random link to something that the Nazis did, even if you hate their ideology, if you do something they did, then that means you're a Nazi, even if you hate all of Nazi ideology. So, even though, I mean, I was not at this rally, but I too have to confess, apparently by this standard, I'm a Nazi, not just garbage and stupid as a woman. I'm also a Nazi because back when I was 19, I flew over London. I know. I'm never going to forgive myself for that. I flew over London in a commercial airplane. And, I mean, as we know, Nazis flew over London. I mean, sure, the Nazis were dropping bombs, and I wasn't. But what difference does that really make, people? In fact, no matter who you are or what you believe anywhere in the world, you too are Nazis, because Hitler drank water, people. And I'm sure at some point in your life, you too have drunk water. So, Nazi scum, all of you. And if you haven't drunk water, if you've lived your entire life off of soda, well, guess what? Not only did Hitler probably drink soda at some point, but he breathed air, people. Are you breathing this moment? Nazi filth. There's just no excusing Trump. I mean, he held this rally, and that makes him Nazi scum, despite the fact that he's the first president in a long time who did not start any new wars. Very Hitlerian of him. We know that Hitler was, just a big hippie who loved his peacetime, right? Trump also moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem in Israel. And I mean, we all know how much Hitler would have supported the idea of the Jews finally having a country of their own, right? I mean, that's probably in a history book somewhere, isn't it? Maybe? I mean, the parallels just never stop, and I mean, there's other celebrities that are going to get hit by this, because as much as Trump resembles Hitler, I mean, Hitler had a mustache. So, Tom Selleck, Sam Elliott, sorry, dude, Hitler. In case you don't understand the concept of sarcasm, I'm being sarcastic. Because, of course, none of these things make you Nazis. Believing in Nazi ideology makes you a Nazi. No one is convinced by this except some drugged up, brainwashed, hungover, privileged college Hamas groupie. And they were already voting for you. So, congratulations on spending 36 hours straight bringing on the most deranged guests like Tim Walz and the living embodiment of Stewardess Barbie, AOC, to tell us all what nobody in their right mind believes. And just in case you can't put two and two together, most of us consider those college-age people who believe you. And there are some college kids who've got it together, who have fought back. I saw a video of a guy that actually stood up to these people, and good for him. So I'm not generalizing. Some of you people have your act together. A lot of you don't. But when I see the ones that don't out chanting things like "Gas the Jews" on October 8th, before a war or any sort of retaliation, all of which has been justified, even started. My concern with Nazis is directed at you, not at Tay-Tay for having a concert at Madison Square Garden. Why? Because I'm sane. I'm kind of addicted to sanity. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to live without it. And just in case you don't know completely how I feel about those protesters, you college protesters out there in the face scarves with your Antifa friends and your Palestinian flags spray painting Hamas symbols on my monuments, you cost the Democrats my vote. Okay? I just want you to know that. Because I've voted Democrat in the past. Now, to be clear, this administration has done a lot of other things that I dislike, but I wasn't really paying attention until you. You made me go, what is going on right now? And when I asked that question, I got a lot of answers I don't like. You are the reason a lot of people are going to be voting the way they are come Tuesday. You. The globalized, the Intifada crew seems to be getting their wish as a man who is in this country illegally. So he broke into my home from Africa. He is a Muslim extremist, crossed our border, went up to Chicago, where he shot an Orthodox Jewish man in his own community, my fellow American, after shouting Allahu Akbar. And then he engaged the police. This Jewish man is thankfully going to be all right. My prayers are with you and your family. You did not deserve this. It is unacceptable that your government allowed this to happen to you. It is even more unacceptable that their rhetoric and embracing of the radicals led to things like this. And I'm supposed to be afraid of who again? Because I support the Jews. I openly support the Jews. I openly admire the Jews. And I do so without any apology to any of you Hamas groupies who support the scum of the earth. Is that clear enough for you to understand? I know you all have a problem with words and their actual meanings versus all your redefining of it, but I'm hoping that's clear. Unsurprisingly, the media is not really covering this because, after all, who wants to address today's actual Nazis when we can pretend that Trump is growing a mustache and making him into Hitler, the guy who's been the most pro-Jewish president of my lifetime? Yeah. Okay. There is no excuse for not charging this Muslim extremist, illegal immigrant from Africa with a hate crime. If we're going to have that category, and it's debatable that we should, because most crimes are hate crimes, and for you to have a random category that you can throw out when you want to add time onto the maximum for a crime is debatable at best anyway. But if we're going to have that category, it needs to be applied evenly, justly, and fairly. And the people in Chicago are refusing to charge this man with a hate crime. And there's no excuse for that other than anti-Semitism, which you've given repeated examples of obviously harboring repeatedly for at least the last year. Chuck Schumer affirmed my opinion of him when it came out this week that he had told Columbia University during their disgraceful demonstrations where bigots on their campus were blocking Jews from going into classrooms that they had paid to go into. And Chuck Schumer told them not to do anything about it because this anti-Semitic behavior only was concerning to Republicans. Only the Republicans were worried about it, so just keep your heads down and don't actually do anything to stop the anti-Semites. And you wonder why I say Chuck Schumer is not a Jew. And having him on your side certainly does not assuage my concerns about the anti-Semites you have been welcoming into your party with open arms. The strategy for dealing with the fact that most people see you for what you are seems to be to throw out every crazy accusation you can and hope that the majority of people are as crazy as you are. There have been people on the news claiming that Trump is going to set up internment camps, that he's going to break up interracial marriages and remarry the white person to someone else, that he's going to give no warning to people with hurricanes. He's going to forbid birth control. They even put out this crazy-ass commercial that was the most bizarre and I have to admit, kind of humorous thing I've ever seen. It's a commercial from the future where Americans 30 years from now come back to warn us all that Trump dies in office and J.D. Vance morphs into President Snow from the Hunger Games. Oh my gosh. And, makes us all live under bridges and districts. What are you people smoking and where can I get some? Seriously. Dear Lord. They also put out another commercial where a guy is watching porn in his bedroom. Let's see, can I come up with a euphemism here? Loving himself. And a Republican congressman comes in to tell him that that's now against the law and that he's going to stay and watch him. To make sure he doesn't do it again. Oh my gosh. You people, seriously, two questions. How long have you been off your medications? And now that you're off your medications, how do you stand the voices in your head ranting 24/7? Those of us out here in Sanity Land are more concerned about things like Kamala Harris's administration suing Glenn Youngkin, who went to a lot of effort to take a string of illegal voters that were on the voter rolls on his state off of them because they aren't allowed to vote. And Kamala Harris is suing him to put the names back on. Now, unless you want illegal voters on the voter registration for some other reason than so they can vote, which I would need to know what that is, I am forced to conclude that you're hoping that small levels of cheating in strategic places will be enough to let you slip under that limbo pole. You are just absolutely destroying your credibility as a party. Absolutely destroying it. I understand why you're panicking. You ran the absolute worst candidates possible by choosing word salad for brains Harris and communist groupie tampon Tim. I understand that from your perspective, we were supposed to vote for any candidate you served up because it's unfathomable that anyone could not love the woke insanity. So it shouldn't have mattered who you ran, but it does. It matters who you ran. It matters how you ran them without a primary. It matters what they've done since running by avoiding interviews and running away from positions with no explanations. It does all matter. It matters what happened at the DNC, and there was a lot of ugliness that happened there. I'm sorry we're not as stupid as would be convenient for you. And we haven't fallen for the strategy of her campaign, which has basically been to float a balloon up as an idea and then realize, oh no, they don't like it, shoot it down, shoot it down, shoot it down. And then, bringing the men in black to flash everyone. It never happened, people. I mean, seriously? That has been the strategy. And then you're surprised because people actually remember, because this is reality. You cosplay too much. I don't know what to tell you. Then you just have her trot out a new accent and wonder why people don't think she's authentic. Really? This is a mystery to you? This when, despite your best efforts, stories keep coming out like the fact that Kamala's spent her first weeks in office scouring intelligence reports that were classified, looking for, what? Language that could be indicative of possible gender bias. Why? Because she found 2 adjectives that she didn't feel they would have used about a man. Oh no, not the adjectives. You people live in your own world, you really do. And what was the results of this scouring? She found some questionable choices, but no widespread pattern. And yet, I'm relieved to know that the fact that you found nothing didn't stop you from bringing in the PC police to host mandated training classes just because that's always the answer to everything. Let's spend money on PC training classes. No wonder the nation went to hell in a handbasket. We've got Rudy and Bud at the helm arguing over gender issues and no Cosby to referee. This is a clown show. It is such a clown show. These are not serious priorities. And I know some people like it. They love the clown show. But most of us are not laughing. At least, not at the people you want us to be laughing at. Which brings me to my final point. There was yet another commercial that came out with the celebrities that think that their opinion matters to any of us from their privileged lives in Malibu, where they're insulated from everything bad that happens to us regular people who apparently are supposed to give a tiny rat's ass how they're voting or how they think we should live our lives. Us people who are not divorced for the 8th time, who are not in rehab for the 12th time, and do not have children that are fundamentally screwed up by the age of 6. Yes, we're taking our advice, our life advice from you people, because we all know Hollywood is the cradle of stability and sanity in the world. So the celebrities, specifically the celebrities who play the Avengers, all got together to go out there and do superhero stuff for Kamala. And they came up with a new slogan for her, "Down with Democracy." Now, granted, they were trying to be ironic. It's just that they failed. But I'm only going to address one of you. Because, you know what? Scarlett, Robert, you guys have a right to your opinion, okay? You do. I don't agree with you, but you have every right to your opinion. Mark Ruffalo, I don't know what's going on with the hair, my man. Like, seriously. I know you're desperate to get laid by somebody, anybody before you die. And apparently in your desperation, you've gone for the Albert Einstein look. And granted, Einstein actually got quite a bit of action, but it wasn't because of his hair. So shave that cat off your head. Okay? Really. The one Avenger I unfortunately have to go after here is Chris Hemsworth. Sweetheart. You're so pretty. You are. You're so pretty. We all love looking at you, man. But in the process of looking at you, I've noticed on occasion you're Australian. Now, Australians are allowed to have opinions. Here's the problem, okay? You don't live here. You don't live anywhere in a state of normalcy. But unless you emigrated and became a citizen while I wasn't looking, you are way outside of your area. You have no skin in this game, my man. If you encourage people to vote for a bad candidate, you don't have to live with it. I do. I'm a regular person. I'm a disabled young woman who has no real close family to help me except one brother who has his own family to look after. I am struggling to hold on by my fingernails, okay? While you live on the other side of the planet. You have no right to campaign for Kamala or Trump because you have no skin in the game. You don't have to live with the consequences of it. Now, you have every right to get involved in Australian politics. And if you were American, I would say the same thing to you that I said to Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson and all the rest of them, including Mark Ruffalo. You have the right to your opinion. But you're not American. Now, true, even those other actors are leading extremely privileged lives that allow them to insulate themselves so they have minimal skin in the game. But you have none. So, here's the thing. Unless you want to move from Australia to the United States, pick up your family, pick up your brothers, move over here, go through the legal and expensive process of becoming an American citizen, and then donate your money to charity and come live in the real world with people like me. You need to keep your opinions to yourself on American politics because you have no skin in the game. Just like I will keep my opinions to myself on Australian politics because I have no skin in the game there. It's not a double standard. It's just being responsible. And I do understand you're caught between a rock and a hard place, which is why I'm going easy on you. And yes, I'm going easy on you. But I understand your career is dependent on Hollywood, and Hollywood is crazy land for liberals, including probably, I'm assuming, a lot of your castmates. I get it. They expect you to whore yourself out for their politics. And if you don't, you might be blacklisted and blah, blah, blah. And so you do what they want you to do because why not? What does it really matter? I'm why it matters. People like me are why it matters. There are real people who get affected by this. And you know what? If Hollywood does blacklist you, you'll be okay because you've made millions of dollars. If this election goes wrong and I lose my disability benefits, which I'm under threat of having happen to me right now, I won't be okay. I'll be homeless So unless you want to buy me a home and come over here and make sure that I've got food and medical care so that I don't have to end my life, you need to stay on your side of the pond, sweetheart. Because Hollywood ain't the only ones who can blacklist you. Yeah, they make the movies, and if they blacklist you, you're in a bad place. You'd have to go to independent movies, which don't make anywhere near as much money. But Bud Light can tell you what happens when the American people who buy the movie tickets decide they don't like you. Now, I don't think that's called for at this point. You made a mistake. Don't do it again. You just, oil yourself up and work those tights back on and act in the land of make-believe and stay in your lane. Okay? Thank you, hun. And as for my fellow Americans who do have a right to voice their opinions publicly on this election, regardless of whichever candidate you're voting for, I hope you will check out my series that has covered all of this for the past 5 weeks, and I will be releasing my final episode on Kamala Harris's record early. So that comes out tomorrow, and I hope you will give it a listen because OMG, people. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend, my friends.